If you ever struggle with rhythm or getting your timing down, basically being in sync with yourself when you're playing, what I'm about to tell you will really help with that. When I have students come to me and they're struggling with getting their rhythm chops down, first thing I do is make sure they have the ability to keep their right hand moving. No matter what else is going on, we want to keep that going. So most students basically are used to tapping their foot, right? That's how we start keeping time with music, just simply going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We're tapping quarter notes. So if we want to add eighth notes into that, all we're doing is adding an and between the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what I am going to have you do is get your right hand to sync up with your foot. So when your foot goes down, your right hand's going to strum down. When your foot comes up, your right hand comes up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and that's how we want to sync up within ourselves. So, obviously we have to be able to sync up to something outside of ourselves, like a drummer or a metronome. But we also want to be able to have this internal sync going to where we're not like all out of sync and our foot's tapping one way and we're struggling playing up here. Usually if your foot can tap solid, then you can basically follow it with your hand, and that puts you all in sync. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that you can do, to practice this, to basically get this down. It's simple as this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we don't even have to hold a chord down here. We're just going to do this because it's more about the right hand and getting that in sync. Once again, if we're going to play it with a metronome, it's going to go 1 and 2 and. We want to make sure we're staying in sync and keeping this even, right? But obviously, if we did put a chord to it and then we play like that, it sounds pretty boring if our rhythm is. You can't really do that all the time, right? So how we create different and more interesting rhythms is by not hitting every strum, but by missing some. So the key is my right hand is like a machine over here. It's just doing this. It doesn't care if it's out here doing this or if it's here doing this. It's doing its thing. So then what I can do is create a rhythm based on that, based on when I hit a strum and when I miss a strum. For example, if I wanted this rhythm, now if you heard that and you thought you were going to go and do all downstrokes, it can be really choppy. And once again, it can really be difficult if you are not synced up internally. Now, once you become a better player, you won't always have your hand exactly locked in with your foot. There's a lot of different, rhythms, obviously a lot of different syncopation and different things where your hand and your picking is going to have to do something different than what your, basically what the foot is doing in simple tapping if you're keeping time in, 4/4 music. But to start with, if you can practice this, it really helps you develop your rhythm chops. So let's look at that. What's happening there? I'm basically playing 1, I'm missing the and, I play 2, I miss the and, I play 3 and, I miss the 4, and I hit the and. So that's my rhythm. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and. Once again, syncing that right hand up with my foot. It doesn't matter, I'm doing this. Same thing, right? My right hand doesn't change when I'm doing a miss. That's the biggest trap that I see students do, which is they go, they don't keep that going. This should be steady. Like I said, this could be a machine over here. I could just have a machine doing this, and then basically I'm going to hit it or I'm going to pull away from it. So then if you start thinking about that, every time you strum, you can either hit it or miss it. Well, you can make up a ton of different progressions or of different rhythms, right? Your own rhythms. So you can go, my right hand is still going steady. Down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2. Do it slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What if I miss the first one and hit the second one and then down, up? That's a different rhythm. So the rhythms are practically countless as far as different rhythms you can do by just deciding which one you're going to hit and which one you're going to miss. So if I just did the 3 chords that I played earlier and with all straight 8th note strums, if I did this rhythm with there, all of a sudden it sounds better, right? It sounds more like music. It sounds like a rhythm. So you want to basically get down as many of these to work on as you can. Now here is how I would suggest you do that. You take a piece of paper and you're just going to write out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do a downstroke symbol and an upstroke symbol. So you sort of get that, you know, really absorb that. So you know it's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then you're going to decide which ones you want to hit and which ones you want to miss. Once again, it's up to you. You can create randomly, just go through and say, I'm going to hit the first one, miss the next upstroke, hit the downstroke, miss the up, miss the down, hit the up, miss the down, hit the up. Next time through, let's do it. And we're going to miss the downstroke, hit the upstroke, hit the downstroke, hit the upstroke, hit the downstroke, miss the upstroke. I mean, whatever it is, right? You can come up with tons of these. Just practice exercises that you can put a metronome on. We should always be playing this and doing this with a metronome. Put a metronome on and then just work on. Once you get to where you have the idea down, then you can start stringing together maybe 2 measures. So that gives you obviously twice as many options for either hitting or missing. The next level of this way of thinking is doing 16th notes. So 16th notes, we count not 1 and 2 and, but we count that as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, so all of a sudden now there's twice as many strums within the same measure. So when you hear somebody going, same thing. My right hand is just strumming 16th notes now, but it's doing that, right? So it's in time because it's in time with my foot, right? So whatever I hit there is going to be in time. That's the key, right? It's not about trying to memorize, okay, hit, up, down, up, you know, it's like, that'd be crazy. So we want to basically get this going, so that's where our groove comes from. Now the other thing you might hear me doing there is something else that we can do, because when we do a, we can either hit it, we can miss it, or when we're playing a chord, we can get what we're getting here, which is the percussion, right? So we can go hit it, miss it, or get this. When we come up, we can either hit it, we can miss it, or we can get this. Right? The other thing you'll notice I'm doing is I'm pressing down or off to get that, right? So it's the left hand starts to come into play here because you have to apply pressure or take it off in order to keep this going. So just a couple of things to do. I'm going to show you one more idea that you can work on with this and show you how it can basically be applied to a single note rhythm. So a single note rhythm, we would take that and we would go, let's do a, you know, for example, right? We got this riff. But we want it to have that kind of syncopated, slightly funkier feel than just straight, right? So we're going to go. Now the cool thing is my right hand is still going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'm going down, up, miss, up, miss, up, miss, up, miss. It's just doing this. Nothing else. It's not changing. There, I can put the scratch in there. Without the scratch. The key is, even on single note stuff, it's down, up, down, up, down, up. It's that steady down, up thing that makes it happen. right? If I had to do that, I can do that, but man, I totally lose that sync between my hand and my foot tapping, right? So especially if you're struggling with this, I would suggest you keep that right hand going, whether you're doing single note rhythm lines or whether you're doing, you know, simple strums. Something like that. Once again, my right hand is going. Funky strums, single notes, it all works with keeping your right hand going. That is the best thing you can do to practice on to get your rhythm chops together. Once you get that down, like I said, once you really get synced up, then you can start to vary it. Then you can start to do different things and you can get a lot more freedom with your right hand. And while you're still keeping a solid groove with your foot, you're still tapping your foot, you're still in sync with the drummer, then you'll allow your right hand to do whatever, but it's because you've basically trained it and built it from the ground up to where you've got a super solid foundation that allows you to do really whatever you want. So practice on that. I think you'll have fun with it.